Hey y'all, it's Erica B and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're going to be picking up where we left off at in our review and recap on Married at First Sight Season 17, Episode 3. Claire's parents walk her down the aisle, and when Claire gets to the end of the aisle where she can see her groom, she has this exhale, and you could tell that she liked what she saw. I mean, Cameron was a very handsome groom in his suit and his nice haircut. And speaking of haircut, when it was time for the families to tell the spouses about each other, Cameron's family slash family friends did him very dirty. Okay, they said that behind this tall man and great head of hair is just a tall man with a great head of hair. I mean, it was so shady and offensive that even Claire asked, is he offended by that? Okay. And then the note goes on to read that when he starts speaking, he's just a tall man with a great head of hair and an accent. They said that literally the coolest thing about him is his accent, unless you think mountain biking for miles is also cool. And I just was like, what? We don't have nothing else to say about Cameron. I mean, I agree because up until now, that is all we know about Cameron. You know what I mean? But for your family, friends, and your cousin to say something like that about you, it was sad. But Cameron took it like a champ, okay? And they were able to have a really nice ceremony. But baby, shade. Do you hear me? In Cameron's vows, we learned that he really loves chocolate, and we are just learning new things about this man. In fact, we start to see that Cameron is actually funny. I'm like, why are we not seeing it until now? I mean, did production intentionally hold out on his sweet personality and his banter until now, or did he hold out until now because he's so happy that he has a wife? It's really hard to say, but it is really exciting to see. Cameron is quick with the comebacks too. He's very witty, and I am pleasantly surprised that this man do have some personality to him. Yes, Cameron. The two are pronounced man and wife. They leave the ceremony and they have to walk to a separate part of the venue where they get to sit in the heat, okay? So they did not have to sit outside in the cold on that couch. Emily and Brennan, Austin and Becca walked so that Claire and Cameron could run, okay? They did not have to sit outside, and thank God, because that was just such a stupid idea. While Cameron and Claire are continuing their conversation inside, Cameron actually confirms what I said in my last video, which was that everyone there was friends and family of Nancy. So I had a theory that they were either seat fillers or they were Nancy's folks, and he confirmed they were, that they have been just very good to him. They have taken him in as their own, and he's just very grateful to have them in his life, especially in the absence of his own family who are still in New Zealand. Now, Claire asks Cameron if the family is aware that he's just been married at first sight. And Cameron says, yeah, they are aware, and that he is hoping that they can go to New Zealand and have a wedding there, which Claire thinks is a good idea as well. While they were talking about family, Claire lets Cameron know that her sisters are going to grill him and roast him. Is it me? Or did Cameron get very nervous? I don't know. He started turning a little red. Looked like he started to sweat a little bit. It looked like the thought of them grilling him just made him uncomfortable. You know, it's one, and I get it, because it's one thing to be grilling me about being married at first sight, as if I'm not marrying a stranger as well. But it's another thing to be roasting me and just we're having fun. So I think that's what kind of made him nervous, the difference in the two, because when she first mentioned them roasting him, he thought it was quite funny, and he even said that I am roastable. But when they were talking after the ceremony, she said they're gonna grill you. He had a completely different reaction. So I think it's just the difference in the term for Cameron that really made him nervous. Next, the couples have their official photos. Of course, your girl Becca cannot let the wedding photographer do their job. My good sis is like telling them how to pose, and she really is confusing the folks. And she's like, you know what, never mind, ignore me, just listen to whatever Miss Ma'am is saying. They did get some good pictures. In fact, everybody got some good pictures. Brennan and Emily, of course, they just look good together. I mean, they remind me of Barbie and Ken, to be perfectly honest. Just a beautiful and handsome couple. Their pictures turned out very well, and I thought it was really cool how different Brennan's parents was acting. Okay, like I said, when they saw Emily and how good they look together, I feel like all their stress and worry just went out the window, and they have been just enjoying the wedding ever since. And the same thing goes for Austin's parents as well. You see mom in the pictures having big smiles, throwing her hands up in the air. The families are just acting different in a good way, and it is a treat to see. On to the receptions. The first reception up is Brennan and Emily's. Y'all, Emily ready to drink, okay? I ain't saying she a drunk, but I am saying that she had a cup in her hand most of that reception. The two are sitting down and they're just conversing. They start asking each other questions that just don't make sense to me. Like, how old are the Park City twins and what do each other drive? I will be asking Brennan questions like, sir, what is my new last name? What is your phone number so I can make you my emergency contact? Like, ICE Brennan, okay? Like, those are the questions you should be asking, but maybe they were just nervous. Emily brings up the bachelorette parties. Now, while Brennan was staying away from the strippers, Emily was actually engaging with them. She was what she called herself white girl wasted, and she was taking shots off them strippers. Brennan's face said, I don't know about that. But in his confessionals, he was saying like he was happy that she was being open about it, that she told him about it. And I'm just like, I mean, what can you do? I mean, you already married this girl. I just thought it was odd that she brought it up. I mean, women who have been in relationships and have dated men know that some things you just don't say. Men don't need to know everything. She did tell him, and you know, he reacted calm, cool, collected. But like I said, his face said something completely different. The speeches at this wedding were very beautiful. We find out that Emily has wanted to be married for a long time, that she was actually a bride 3 times for Halloween growing up. And then Brennan's dad actually tells us that Brennan just loves to be loved. And I think that's so cute for such a handsome man. Because, you know, Brennan could be out here slanging that, you know, because he is fine, okay? But no, he wants to be loved and respected. And he wants to be married. I just hate that it's to Emily. Lord have mercy. It could have been anybody else but Emily. It's that time where the bride and groom go talk to the bridesmaids and the groomsmen, or like friends of the family and whatnot. And Brennan is speaking with Emily's friends / bridesmaids. And y'all, when I saw Lily pop on the screen, as you know, Lily is the maid of honor / the one that had the most to say to Emily and the cameras when Emily told them she was getting married. She also was one of the ones stirring stuff up at the bridal appointment where Emily was picking her dress and making her very anxious. She is also one of the ones that was making her anxious in the bridal suite. So soon as I saw her about to talk to Brennan, Lord, I was praying. I said, Lord, please do not let them mess this up for Emily, because we have seen in previous seasons where that conversation in specific, the one where they talk to the friends at the wedding, those brides and groomsmen always hold on to what they say later in the season, and we have seen people even use it against them as a reason why they were not cooperative in the marriage. So Lily, Girl, when I saw you, I had a mini heart attack. But thankfully, they ain't let her talk too much, okay? The other friend was the one saying the most, which I appreciated, okay? They did not let Lily open her mouth for long, okay? So these girls, they are asking Brennan, how does he feel about Emily not being in a relationship before? And he, he says he's not really fazed by it. The girls go on to tell him that Emily has had short-term relationships. So I'm confused. That confused me because it's like, have you been in a relationship or not? The fact that they're calling it short-term relationship is a red flag for me because Emily, you told us that you ain't never been in a relationship. So we thinking you out here just casually dating and cutting people off. But no, even when Emily talked to Brennan's friend, she basically told them like she be putting out. Basically, she goes on these dates. After the third date, they don't talk to her no more. And it's probably because, Emily, you be putting out and they didn't got what they wanted, okay? That's what it's given. You put out and don't get chose. We see that could possibly be the case when she tells his friends also how willing she is to bust it wide open later in the night, okay? They also tell Brennan that the reason that she hasn't been in a long-term relationship is because she knows what she wants and what she deserves. And when things are just not going her way, she gets out of there. She doesn't wait for things to get better. She checks out and she's like on to the next. In a small way, I am also that way. When it's not giving what it's supposed to give, I do be like, I'm good and I really don't want to talk about it because I feel like I'm not emotionally invested in you to care to talk it out. But I'm also not trying to marry a stranger, okay? Emily, you got to get it together, baby. This is a marriage, not a short-term fling. I'm interested to see how Emily is going to handle conflict in this marriage when she don't get her way. How quick will Emily be to walk away from a man who has no intention on divorcing her? At Orion and Lauren's reception, we see them sitting at the head table and they're talking. And next thing, Lauren asks Orion what his first impression of her was. And he says that he was floored and that she was beautiful, and she is. And he said it at the altar, and he said it even their first conversation after the wedding in that private room. So he's been telling her that she's been beautiful since he saw her, okay? Next, it's time for them to have their first dance, which is very awkward, but they're talking each other through it. And Orion is telling Lauren that he is a grass dancer and what that is all about. Of course, Lauren appreciates it. She's very willing to learn and she is a good listener. It wasn't until he asked her what her first impression of him was that she became lost for words, okay? My good sis said, oh. And she said it in a way where it threw me off and it threw him off too. He even said a cuss word that was bleeped out. Okay, I can imagine it was the F-bomb. I'm not understanding what that's about because Orion is not bad looking. She goes on to tell him that when she saw him, it put her at ease, that she liked that he was tall. And it's basically like she's not saying nothing like looks wise, like she's not complimenting his looks. And what that tells me is, one, Lauren is not attracted to Orion from what I could see. She's just not. She hasn't called him handsome. She hasn't said, you look nice, you look exquisite. She made comments on his bun and his earrings. But yeah, she's not giving this man compliments, and he is fishing for one. To be perfectly honest, he is. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but what I would say is Lauren's expectations was never that high to begin with. If we can recall a conversation that the girlies had in the bridal suite, Lauren actually said that you cannot turn a 2 into a 5. And then she said, but you could turn a 4 to a 5. And so when she made the comment, I actually felt like she was aiming too low. Like, why was her expectation so low in the first place? So what that's telling me is Lauren already figured that she wouldn't get an attractive man for some reason. I don't know, it's because we know how they do the black girlies on these dating shows or what, but yeah, her expectations was already significantly low. Orion asks Lauren what her dad thinks of them being married at first sight, and Lauren tells him that her dad said that it was strange. She also goes on to say that her mother, who we know is deceased, is the one who is the non-judgmental parent, and that she would have been on board for it. As they're talking, we find out that Orion is taking classes to become a real estate broker, which means our guy is already a realtor. So this is new information for us. Okay. What I'm getting is Orion just don't like working for folks. And considering that he is indigenous in the oppression of their people, I can understand why he would prefer to be an independent contractor, whether it be building houses, which we know he know how to do, or him being an electrician. Orion is proven to me to be a jack with a lot of trades. He tells Lauren that he lives with his mom, and I don't see a problem with it. You know, in different parts of the world, including here with different cultures in the United States, a lot of other people tend to stay with their parents until they're married. Orion has been a single man until now. Lauren asks him if he's been saving money since he's been living with his mom, and he says yes. So again, no big deal. The man is saving money. We don't hear him say his intent to move out right away, but we do hear him tell her father what his plans are for the future, which I believe will help us make sense. Orion is speaking with Lauren's dad. The sister-in-law is also at the table, and he is telling them that he's an electrician and he's a realtor in New York. Mind you, they in Denver, Colorado. So Orion has plans to eventually move to New York. Okay, and the dad is just not taking it well. He's like, well, you know, you're married now. I haven't heard you say that you're going to include Lauren in this decision and whatnot. And I'm just like, Lauren, your daddy needs to chill, okay? Like, y'all just got married. How was he supposed to include you in some plans when y'all just got married a couple hours ago? In fact, at this point, Orion hasn't even shared this information with Lauren. All right, so let's just get that straight. He hasn't even shared it with her yet. This is our first time hearing it as he tells it to you, the dad. Okay, I'm hip to what Orion has going on. See, y'all tried to paint Orion as a dusty, but he's far from it. What I'm getting from this is Orion has been saving money living with his mom because he eventually wants to move to the East Coast and sell houses over there, and he's a licensed electrician in New York. And it sounds like Orion is about to have a one-man show and or at least be a boss, okay? He can build a house, he can wire the electrical, and he can sell it under his own company, being a broker eventually, and keep all of that money in-house. I see what you was doing, Orion. They missed it, but I caught it. Okay, Orion wants to be a boss. Like I said, with the history of the indigenous people in this country, I can see why this man do not want to work for the man. He is handy, he is intelligent, and I peep game. And Lauren, you better act right, girl, because this sounds like this man want to be a mogul, to be perfectly, if we being honest. He's trying to pull a monopoly in New York, and the daddy is only worried about did he consult with Lauren yet. And it's like, can you give him a chance? Like, they just got married. Orion goes on to tell Lauren's dad that, you know, when it comes to his expectations in marriage, he do not want to be bossed around. And this is where Orion lost me. I'm gonna be honest, you lost me here, bro. What are you talking about, Orion? And before I get to what he was talking about, I want to say that I felt like Orion was speaking in this manner because up until now, his energy was very calming. And to be honest, it was more feminine than masculine. So I felt like Orion was trying to match Lauren's dad's masculine energy, and it backfired a little bit. That's what I feel like it was. I feel like he felt like he had to sit taller, have a little more bass in his voice. He had to let dad know that he was an enterprising man, that he had plans. You know what I'm saying? He had to let him know that he was financially driven, and he had to let him know that, you know, he could trust him with Lauren, but it backfired. We have Orion proclaiming his love for the indigenous people in the Navajo and Dene tribe for the whole time that he been introduced to this show. Only to tell Lauren's dad, a black man, now keep that in mind, okay? A black man that only thing he don't like about his culture is the matriarchy. So what I got from that is, I feel like he only said that because he knows that black men have an issue with the matriarchy as well in the black community. Because it's like, if you hate the matriarchy so bad, why are you marrying a black woman? When statistically, most black people are raised in a woman-ran single parent household. Okay, that's what the statistics say. And black women, even when married, are known to lead the household. I mean, financially, we just make more money than the men. So it's odd to me that for a man who loves the Navajo and Dene culture so much, you don't love the most important thing about the tribe. This tribe is known to be matriarchal. It's known to be woman ran since the beginning of this tribe. This is nothing new, okay? There is no shortage of Dene men that will cause these women to have to lead the tribe like in the black community. No, this is how it has always been. And so I find it disheartening to hear this man talk about how much he loved to dance, he loved the culture, he's educating us on the bun and the dress and all of that, just to say he don't like that women run the tribe. So I'm gonna marry a black woman. You lost me there, buddy. You lost me, and you lost her dad too. You thought you ate. You thought you ate, but he was not feeling that. In fact, I feel like dad peeped that he was trying to, you know, get his approval. In fact, he even told him, he was like, listen, y'all already married. You know, the deal is done. Y'all already married. You don't need my approval. But Orion insists that he does and that he wants it. And at that point, daddy like, well, you ain't getting it today. Not after that conversation. He was like, I mean, time will tell, you know. And I agree. What are you talking about, Orion? I felt like he was lying. I felt like he was lying, saying that, because what he was basically insinuating is that the women are disrespectful to them, the men in his culture, because he said he believed that it should be a mutual respect. And I don't know everything about Navajo, Dene, indigenous people, but I have read a little bit about them since hearing his statement, and there is, from what I see, a mutual respect between the men and women in their tribe. The men are the hunters, you know, they provide, and the women are the caretakers. The women, the reason why it's so matriarchal is because it is the woman's responsibility in the Navajo Dene tribe to spread the culture. It is spread from woman to woman. The women are the ones who educate the children, both the male and female children, on their tribe. It's through word of mouth that each person in the tribe learns about where they come from. Okay, that is just how it is. So it's odd to me for him to insinuate that there is like a disconnect between the two in that tribe. I really felt like he was trying to connect with the dad, because there is a disconnect in the black community. And I feel like he thought that they would agree on that, but they didn't. You are better off bringing up sports or something, Orion, than to just like make your tribe look bad, you know, make your upbringing look bad. Because from what I could see, your mama was cool and your sister was too. So how are you not respected? Is it because you still live with your mom that you feel like they don't respect you? Because I didn't get that. Like I said, I felt like you was just saving that coin for this big move to New York. What was it, Orion? Orion's sister asked Lauren what her red flag is, okay? And my good sis said, listen, I'm not waiting for Orion to come and tell me. I don't want to wait to get that text. I want you to tell me right now. And Lauren was very open, and she confessed, like, my red flag is that I seek external validation. This threw me off, to be honest, because up until now, Lauren is portrayed to be, you know, a very confident, strong woman. So it was really unexpected to hear her say that she struggled with needing that external validation. I'm not going to say it's the first time I heard a grown woman say that. I mean, we all struggle with our insecurities. You know, she just happened to be on TV. But it still was shocking to hear and to confess, to be we being real about it, okay? Another thing about the comment that kind of threw me off is, you know, she says she's a person that needs external validation, but she has not validated Orion, okay? She told him that, you know, he put her at ease and that he's tall, okay? But for someone who needs external validation, you would think she wouldn't struggle with validating somebody else. Orion's sister and friend find him in the reception, and they ask him, what do he think of Lauren? And he says that she is a catch. Like, he likes her. He thinks she's very beautiful. Meanwhile, Lauren's girlies is asking her what she think of him, and she said he give her mom energy. I've never heard something so disturbing in this whole season. What? He gives you mom energy? That is a man, Lauren. And I think she said it because as Orion was speaking to his sister and friend, he did say that, you know, he keep looking for her. He's looking over her shoulder. You know, he wants her next to him, you know. But mom energy, I mean, because if you think about it, he must have some real strong feminine energy, because she didn't say he gives me protector vibes. She said mom energy. So she peeped that he is a little feminine. And I don't know, y'all. To me, you know, it's odd. We get to Austin and Becca's reception, and the first thing that Becca says to him that we can see is that she knows her dress is poorly altered and that, you know, they did it in 2 days. And I'm just like, I knew it. Like, yes, girl, the dress sucks. Not just alteration. It's just not a cute dress, Becca. You know, thank God she's a beautiful girl because that dress is not giving, my good sis, okay? The chemistry between these two is through the roof. They are just laughing and talking, having little insiders, and they're learning a lot about each other, and we're learning a lot about them too. We're learning that they have a lot in common. You know, she asked him how does he dress outside of, you know, his formal clothes, and he says he dressed like a skater that don't skate, and she's like ditto, but with a feminine flair. We find out that they both like to rollerblade though, and that they both are allergic to cats, and they are just feeling like they married themselves, but in a feminine and masculine form. And we think the same thing. I know I did. I'm like, what the hell? Like, do they ask them about allergies on the applications too? Austin goes to talk to the bridesmaids, and they are advising him to have open and direct communication with Becca, because if he doesn't, her anxiety will act up. And shame on them. Who are y'all to tell this man that she has anxiety when she has told us and Pastor Cal that she's overcome that anxiety? Like, this is what I'm talking about. And y'all better not tell him about her other health issues, because that is not your business to tell him. I was so annoyed. Like, this is something that I expected from Emily's friends. I was shocked when it was Becca's friends doing too much. I mean, the girl literally had diarrhea of the mouth. She was jumping all over the place, eager to tell him all this stuff about Becca. And I was just like, girl, shut up. Shut up. You talk too much. Let him get to know her and let her tell him about her health and mental health when the time is ready for her. You know, hopefully it's on screen because I want to see it, but still, mind your business, ma'am. They also tell Austin, and I'm paraphrasing, that basically Becca is a sexual person. I mean, in her vows, they even wrote that she was a sex vixen. And once again, talking too much. Who let him find that out on his own? Okay? Y'all not doing her no favors. In fact, if you look at Austin, he looked uncomfortable hearing it from them. Him and Becca had already had their moment when they were sitting at the head table having dinner, where they made an insider that was sexual, and Becca remained very coy about it. If she wanted him to know that she is that girl in bed, she would have, and she did. So again, the friends doing too much. Becca goes to talk to Austin's groomsmen, okay? And while she's talking to him, she does express that her only fear of marrying at first sight was that she would get a clout chaser, somebody that was trying to boost their IG followers or something like that. But now that she's spent time with Austin, she sees that that is just not who he is, and he is a very authentic person, and his friends are there to give the quick amen, like, yes, he really is a very authentic. And, you know, what you see is what you get with Austin. And I could see that, too. He seems really sweet. I didn't like that Austin's grooms brought up whether she would put out or not. It was very weird to me. We know that production put them up to it. In fact, we know production put all the friends and groomsmen and bridesmaids up to it to ask when they have their private conversation. But it's still distasteful. And I keep telling y'all, if you saw my first video review, like, let it go. If they want to ask about sex, it should be organically, unprompted, okay? Stop trying to get them to talk about sex so bad, because we don't watch the show for that anyway. Well, hell, I know I don't. I don't watch the show to find out if they humping or not, okay? I just don't really care. You know, I just assume that they are because they're married. Now, it's time for Becca to talk to Kyla, the female roommate. And Becca, you need boundaries, girl. So she's talking to the girl. I'm reading her body language. I ain't no body language expert, but I know what she's saying is not 100% true. I can tell she's a little anxious, to be perfectly honest. When she's talking to her, she's talking fast. You know, she's saying things that don't make sense. Like the girl, Becca asks Kyla, how do you feel about me, you know, taking him from you? And it's like, what? I could see if she asked the mother because, you know, tradition, that's what you're doing. You're taking them from their family and y'all are becoming one. But to ask a girl he been roommating with for 3 years, what are you taking from her other than someone who was paying half the rent? Becca, don't do that. I know you're trying to be cool with her because you think she's very important to Austin, but no, ma'am, don't do that. So the girl's like, how do you feel about me taking them from him? She's like, oh, I asked my other friends and they think I'm going to thrive. And I was like, negative. Why is if y'all just roommates and everything platonic, why do you have to consult with your other friends about what it's going to be like when he's not around? You know, other than saying I'm going to have to pick up some extra hours at work to cover this whole rent, I don't understand what the need was to consult with her friends and why she would thrive more in his absence. Y'all just friends, right? Y'all just friends, right? I'm not liking it, okay? So then Becca tells Kyla that if you miss him, you can have him whenever you want. Negative. No, she can't. That's your husband. Why? Becca. Boundaries, Becca. Boundaries. Don't tell no woman that she can have your man whenever she want if she miss him. No, if she miss him, y'all need to go have a friend's outing. TF. I don't know if this is a non-black thing, but we would never do that. Okay? Huh? You can have whenever you want. No, she can't. And she knows she can't. And you know she can't. Quit trying to be cute for these cameras, Becca. I'm going to need you to make sense when you talk, okay? And I'm going to need you to not play about your husband, because I can already tell that Austin is not going to play about you, okay? Don't do that. It's a reason why Austin felt the need to tell you right away. Listen, when y'all got married and y'all went to go sit on that couch outside, the first thing Austin told you was he had a female roommate. And if you would have not cut him off, you would have heard him tell you that You know, he knows that that's what people assume, like it's more to it. But the fact that she had to tell her friends about it and they think she gonna thrive without him, it's telling me it's more to it. It is, you know. Kyla, every time you on yellow, I put you back on red. Okay? You're not helping with these comments. You're not helping, girl. Becca meets with her friends in the ladies' room, and they pretty much ask her if she gonna get it on. She gonna get it on with Austin tonight, and she's like, no, like medically she can't. Okay, our girl got an appendectomy. She still got stitches, so he don't know that yet, but know that she's like, we're just gonna talk. She's excited to just talk to him and get to know him. Austin is talking to his friends, and they ask him if he's planning on getting it in with his new wife tonight, and he says no, he just wants to talk to her as well and play N64 all night. You know, that's all they want to do. We're at Cameron and Claire's reception, and they're having their first dance, and it should be awkward, but it's not. You know, the height difference is so cute and how they're managing it that it's just not awkward. So he winds up picking her up. That didn't work. She tried to go behind his neck and him on her waist. The height difference is too great. She's 5 foot. He's 6'2", 6'3". So she ended up just hugging his waist, and her head is literally on his chest. Like, that's how big the difference is. And it was cute. And honestly, to me, it was the least awkward first dance, basically. After the dance, they go sit at the head table. Claire tells us that Cameron is very fun and outgoing and that he's funny. And it is given that. Like, Cameron really do have a personality. And I am shocked by it because I'm like, what? I didn't know he had all this light in him, but he does. And it is so refreshing to see that he might be alone in the world, but you know, once you get to know him, he will let you in to see more. That's what I got from it, because ever since Claire came out into that ceremony, I have seen a different Cameron. Cameron is trying to tell Claire, because you know, Claire keep making comments to cut him off. He's trying to tell her that, you know, he understands they're a married couple, but he would like it if they had their individual things that they like to do. Like, they don't have to, you know, do the same things, you know. But Claire, like I said, she kept cutting him off. It was annoying to watch. And despite that, I could see that Cameron also has quite a bit of patience, because he never raised his volume to try to overtalk to her. He just kept a straight paced and even tone the whole time while being ignored, which was pretty impressive. While they're talking, Claire tells Cameron that she often runs into men who become very codependent on her. And Cameron said, you look like the type. And I could tell it offended her briefly, because I was like, oh, damn. But he said, no, like, you're very beautiful. It's like a moth to a flame. Like, he can see why she would attract those kind of people. And I don't think she told him that she's a therapist yet, because that would have been a good indicator as well. The fact that you're a therapist, of course, once people find that out about you, they will cling to you in the hopes that you could help them, you know, be a better person. So I could see that. They start the wedding speeches, and for me, it's obvious that Cameron's cousin is the one that wrote that note for the spouses to tell in the ceremony, you know. And it makes sense for him to be the one to do it too, because he was the only blood relative at the wedding. So I could see how Nancy and Adelio would be like, we're gonna let him be the one to write the note. And so based off the wedding speech, yeah, it had to be him. He's so silly. Cameron says most of his life has just been him against the world. And I told y'all, you know, that he's just been alone in the world. He is looking forward to becoming a whole new person with Claire and building a life with her, which I think is beautiful, and especially with that beautiful big family of hers. Cameron is going to be all right. I told y'all that I foresee that this couple will make it, but they're going to be the most boring one this season. So quote me on that, and we're going to see. Now, my favorite part of this wedding was when Claire takes Cameron to meet Gigi. Gigi is her grandmother. And grandma is so cute. She's so cute and she's funny and she's charming, and she's been married for 60 plus years. Okay, so if there is anybody equipped to give them advice, it is Gigi. Okay, Gigi says, yep, I'm ready for y'all to come talk to me, and I know y'all only coming because I'm the oldest one here. I love it. Oh my God, I love it. And she's basically giving them advice on how to make the marriage work. She says, basically, pick your battles. Don't stay mad at each other. Love each other. And the advice is on point, okay? That's all I have for you on this episode of Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 3. We only got to see the weddings. At the end, we did get to see a little bit of what the season is going to be like. I'm sure you've already saw it, so I'm not going to go ahead and review that part because I'm going to save that for the actual review. Please come back next week for my review on Episode 4. Until then, please like and subscribe. Feel free to comment. I will be down there with you guys. Until next time, bye.